There we go. Into it with the Foxtrot boys, starting with abs. 3-2 loss. Kickoff is so far fine. Ready here. If you look at it, you've got a lot of boost, but you can still pick up more pads when going towards it. You can also, instead of being this slow onto it, if you're going for a big pad anyways, use this boost instead of flipping. You'll get there a lot quicker, and flipping does render you useless for a second while you're flipping.
The pad on the line, was it?
Yeah. So here you can see you're boosting towards it because you have enough boost to stay in the play. You're not flipping, and that allows you to be in the play a lot more. See both your teammates going over here. Good positioning so far. You take yourself a bit of time, make yourself comfortable, that's fine. Yeah, so far very solid. Nothing too big to mention so far. See here. Alright, that's an interesting turn. So here you've seen your teammate, he's cutting it. That's fine. But when you see him go for this, you kind of also need to just wait. Same time, you have 100 boost here, and you're the last man, so you want to be careful with these pushes. So you kind of just want to wait to see, because this guy realistically doesn't have a shot that's going to be anything troublesome from his angle. He can't realistically do anything, so you can just wait on these things. So here you've pushed up, and then you've turned this way, which I think is a bit interesting. So if we go over to the actual area here. Oh, I've panned me completely out. So from this original play here, you can see the turn you're doing here is very unneeded, because you end up going all the way over here and then turning back into it. Because the ball is going over to this side, and the ball's going to be bouncing back in, so you might as well just stay on this path, just slowly push up here, and stay within it. It's going to keep you a bit more momentum, it's going to be a lot cleaner, and if the ball suddenly goes into you, you're a lot less awkward if you just stay on this line.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's go back into 100%. So you can see, if you'd carried on going straight here, you would have actually received that pass from Lika, and it would have been a free touch instead of them getting this beat on you. Now you've been sent with 0 boost. Here you go back though. Right, let's see what happened. Could you have done anything here?
Quite early, gone for them small bad, probably.
Do you have 79 boost? I swear you were just 0.
I think the boost's a bit weird.
Right, so that's something we have to be aware of as well then. That's interesting. Either way, here, you see Josh was pushing up into the position as well. He's also backwards, which is an interesting situation. So right here, it's fair for you to go back if Josh places his part and realizes that you have 0 boost, but if communication isn't well, and you see this push up here, you do indeed just want to cut in here, try to get a pad, or go in earlier. So that would mean you'd go in on the original pad line.
Yeah,
because you also have these here. You take this, and then you cover what you can really with 24 boost. Because you always want to have someone covering when Lika's got the touch that he has. It just goes out to the opponents. Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Not really seen a lot of people cheat like that. Why? Is this something you guys do?
No, I just never flip into my cheats. I always go too far forwards from experience with my teammates anyway.
Right, because what you're doing here, instead of the flip, I guess you're saving a bit of boost, but you don't have momentum.
Yeah.
And if this kickoff goes 50-50, you're gonna get beat to every ball, despite you having the boost advantage. That's just because you don't have momentum. You're not necessarily further back than other people. You just have to build a lot more speed in a short time. So it's a very passive way of doing it, and I wouldn't recommend. At least the flip is basically needed if you want to really get a lot more out of it. So here, you're waiting for this touch, that's fine. Really good leave. So you pushed in. Everything is very fine positionally from you. You could make things a bit easier for yourself. So in this position here, you see him taking it across, and at this point, what I'm thinking of is, where's my teammate? So my teammate here, in this scenario, he's in the corner, so you know he's behind you. So if we look from Riz's point of view, then you can see that he's not exactly doing anything with this ball.
Yeah.
So if he pinches it back, it just goes to your teammate. So what I'd recommend you doing here instead is you just, from this position, you just stay a bit more center, just wait for it a bit more. Then what happens here is, instead of you being where Josh is now, you have a passing option, because Lika would drive past you because you have boost, and then you're here on the right pass.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's a lot more. It gives you a lot more options in attack. And here, this is car body language. So you being in middle is fine if Josh has possession, because then he's able to 50 and then force it to you, because you don't have anyone middle. But in this position, script right here, his nose is facing towards here, and in general, it's going to be very awkward for him to follow up on a touch if he touches this middle. So you have to assume that he's going to make it easy for himself by hitting it to the left. So that's where you'd stay. Maybe a bit more here. Not full commit to either thing, but in general, not full commit to this middle part, because it's less likely. And you're going to be able to beat him anyways if he gets a bad touch. Hell. Okay, you've grabbed a single pad there. Yeah, we'll just wait for that message to go in, go back into it.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing here is you haven't gone for a single pad. Well, except this one. Because right now, I'd very much be thinking the worst here. If Josh doesn't get the read on whatever's happening here, and honestly, I couldn't tell you, because this guy's trying to score his own net basically, because he's air rolling weirdly. This guy's probably just going to head it to corner. Either way, you got to assume the worst when these things happen. So if you pick up these pads here, you would have 36 boost.
Yeah.
And if they mess up this play, it's a free ball for Josh, and you can just safely go into the corner. No problems. But if this doesn't go good for Josh, you've now full committed, you have 12 boost, and you're taking this long route.
Yeah.
You see, you can just always alter your line with this alternate route here if you need to be back into defense quicker. And it also doesn't take you that much extra to go to the corner boost, but that's obviously if it's a safe position anyways.
Yeah.
So let's play it in. So it's ended up being completely fine. Ball's gone into you, teammate. Here, solid positioning. You could have probably taken a bit more time. I don't know how comfortable you are on these things, but here you can see Voptic there, he's the closest to you. And you don't really have anyone pressuring you, so you want to try to make a touch where you can follow up. This one here is...
Goes over, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit too much power. I can see the idea behind it, but try to control it in a different way where it's easier. You don't want to make it too difficult, but you want to make it easy as possible for yourself. Here, you got 100 boosts. This is fine, you know you have a bit of time. Should have known you had a bit of time. Let's rephrase that. So, from your POV, I assume you have seen it now that I've mentioned it a bit more. Because
Yeah, I
as
can
soon as
see
you
it.
turned here, you saw him far away. So what you also could do then is toggle on and off ball cam to try to figure out how far he is and if he's pushing. Because if he's pushing, this is completely fine what you do.
Yeah.
But if he's not, let's look at it from an eagle eye here. This map isn't exactly ideal for it, but it'll do. So it's basically a 1v1 at this point. And if you play enough once, you'll know that this is a very favorable position for you. You have boost, he's facing towards the wall here. If you take yourself your time here, you have a free control touch. He's going to either turn this way, and that's just a free flick for you.
Yeah.
Or if he turns the proper way, he's going to use a lot of time. That's going to allow you to be very close to his net before flicking or making your play. Remember as well, you have two teammates behind, and if they play their cards right, you might just be able to full on demo this guy out of the play, and then you have a free open net. It's the advantage of taking a bit more time. It depends on the situation and what the teammates call out, but in general here, yeah. Okay, never mind. With Central, I don't know how he misses this, but in general, you can see this is a pretty free touch for him, and that should have been end of story here. It's right here. This is fine. You should go back here. Right. Let's hear it from you, Abs. What's this?
I should have gone back post and got pads on the way back.
Right. And why is that?
Some 20 boost.
And what do you think about this current situation you're in right now?
It's just awkward if it probably got over me with any touch.
Yeah. It's not ideal, because here, you're chilling with 20 boosts, as you mentioned. But as well, what are you covering, realistically, here? Not a lot. And that's why you've ended up turning back. You're awkward, you're like, okay. And then you turn back into back post, but now you don't have any momentum if they end up getting shot. So now everything on the right side's awkward, and you see a leaker pushing to the back post, so you then have to drive forwards again. And you can see the gist of it. So here, as soon as this ball comes here, you driving here is completely fine. You should just assume this is fine.
Yeah.
If your teammate's where he is. And if he isn't, the worst thing for you is that he calls that he's not there, and then you just take this pad and you have this instead, and then you're first man.
Yeah.
And it's a free ball. So here, indeed, I'd maybe not take this one, it's a bit far out, but this one at least, and then this one. Maybe this one if you have time, because then you end up getting
a
few nice pads in. Right here. This isn't necessarily a bad touch, because you have someone pushing with Voptic here, so it's not exactly a free touch. But when banging the ball, make sure it's more awkward for your opponent. Because right now, with your vision, you want to figure out what's the best play for you to make. There is a possibility that you can hit it to Josh here, but that's going to be a bit awkward because you're going to have to hit it all the way to the left here. That's assuming he doesn't jump.
Yeah.
So instead, you saw that he was turning this way. So try to just put it in a direction where he has to use boost, where he's forced to do something. So this yellow line there, that's put in, I'll put it in red instead. This one is a lot more conventional. You will get a lot more power, and it's going to be a lot more threatening for him. That's probably the best play you can do here.
Yeah.
Because hey, you've given him a very comfortable ball. So if I'm thinking from Riz's point of view here, I'm thinking, damn, Abs, what a gentleman. What an absolute Chad, he just gives me the ball and I can send it back to my team. Or, in this case, internet. So here it's about keeping a bit more control. Interesting. Is Lika on the side of you now, or is that the other ghost?
That's weird. Yeah, that's like...
Right, yeah.
I think that's a miscom there.
Very interesting because as a game sound here, I can hear him on the right, and it's a bit weird that both of you are on the same side here, and then you don't end up covering anything on this play. So here you're pushing off, you're waiting, you know where he's hitting it. And then here you can't do anything, so here I'd just leave the ball, honestly.
Yeah.
This touch realistically didn't do anything, you just wasted 30 boost. Right here, picked up pads, this is really good. Gone back. Here, just wait for the bang, nice. Controlled it. Got back in. A lot better from you taking your time a bit more here. Obviously, again, here you have a 2v1 situation, so you could have taken more time, but at least this touch is awkward for him. You can see that no one's really comfortable, so the ball goes back to you anyways. Launch in, is that going to be in? Nope. So wait here, good back post, just chilling on it. The hair. Ooh. Oh, I'll have to cut that out, Jesus. Yeah, definitely an interesting touch here. Let's see what's happening on this side then. So you see both of them pushing in, they're very awkward. Here, this guy has a touch into middle, we know that. The question is, how can we anticipate this touch? Potentially make it easier for ourselves. So right here, this touch, let's go into Lika's point of view actually to figure out what's going on. This is probably a good transition over to Lika as well, given the time. We'll finish off this play. So from this touch here, it's a very unfortunate situation for you, Abs, but I think right now, you just want to cover the mid area. You're second man, and that's your kind of job, to be a goal poacher. So if you just stand there, wait for whatever he's going to do. If he doesn't hit it, it goes to corner, and then you can chase it anyways. So here, it's just about putting some pressure on him, which you have done in this touch here, but you could do it a bit earlier. You can see that pressure here gave you a free 50 into possession. Alika's time now, the taxi driver himself. This touch is very unfortunate, straight off the bat. Got a good 50. Flip is very needed if you're trying to do anything with it. And if you're thinking about this situation, I'm assuming you were just there for the boost, Lika.
Yep.
I don't think you were expecting him to miss, and that's...
Yeah.
So from this, it's a bit rough to make plays. You can always try to adjust yourself to get a touch which doesn't bounce out like this, but you'll have to get adjusted to this. So here, very interesting position. Here you're kind of there with them, then you're playing two positions at one here. You're not fully committed to rotating out yet, but you're also not committed to actually staying in the play, because once this ball gets the 50, which it's supposed to do, you can't actually do anything with it. That's why it's just good to leave it, or then take a bit more time to rotate properly, so you're actually able to do anything in this position.
Yeah.
Here, touches wide. Really good use of your time here. Good control as well. Demo, this is Very good. Yeah, fair play.
Taxi
As soon as
overpowered.
you want to... Indeed, Taxi is overpowered. Hits absolutely everything.
Yep.
Classic. No, you made the right place. As soon as you went out of boost, you ended up staying in the play, making yourself a menace to the defense, and that's very effective. Here, you got a bump in. See here, you've seen Abs is close to you as well. You went. This is still your ball. You have the more natural line, so this is all good. Interesting, very interesting. What's your thought process here as soon as you landed?
I can't remember exactly what I thought, but it was probably go for boost and rotate back.
Yeah. So let's see, did that spawn? It didn't. So replay bug, right. Then that's fine. This rotation over to the other side is fine because it's with the play. But at the same time, if you're thinking ahead into the future here, what do you realistically think you could do in Voptic's position?
Hit it over me.
If we go here, the one touch he can make is this touch here.
Yeah.
So from your position then, you gotta be thinking, how can I block his options? So here you're pushing in and making it a lot more difficult for yourself.
Yeah.
With this bounce, you're out of play, so you don't necessarily need to push into his space when you know he's gonna be hitting it into you, if that's his only option.
Okay.
Here, you've tried taking yourself some time. You can see he's pushing. And once he's here, you don't really have a touch around him, so you can go for a 50. You have low boost as well, so a controlled 50 is a lot better in defense than what I think a hit around their first man is. Because realistically, you're not going to have anyone middle here.
Yeah.
You have Josh, to be fair. He's going to have to do a lot on his own. But if you get this touch around, could work. You just got to make sure that you're actually going to be able to beat him. This position is good. You're just waiting. You're being the number 2 poacher, which we spoke a bit about when apps.
Yep.
Just waiting in your position. That's really good. Yeah, this shot could have been a lot better though.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where did it go wrong then? Aha, I see. Do you see the same?
Pretty sure.
Go ahead, explain.
I think I flipped too early, or I was a bit too far right to the ball when I flipped to it. So I went down and left instead of getting like a proper shot.
You are very much correct in that. So, here, as we look at the approach your car's going here. If this ball is centered, let's just make it easy for ourselves. If this ball is centered with you right now, I love awesome circles.
Yep.
So this here, you can see the touch is very much to the side of this box. So it's always going to be taken a lot more to the left, which you could see it did. That's why you ended up trying to turn. Because at the end here, you ended up turning a bit with your flip. And that also made your car go away from the nose. Because here, you end up hitting it with the top of your car instead. So you don't have a lot of power either.
Yeah.
Nearly went in.
I think I was expecting, like, if I air rolled, I would have hit it with the front of my car. But then I didn't. And I was kind of expecting to hit it with my front still.
Yeah. The hair. This is really good from you again. You seem to be very confident in at least knowing where the ball's going to go and positioning yourself for it. Here, you've jumped a bit awkwardly for it. You can see how quickly you go into that. really get a touch that's worth it for it.
Yeah.
Your rotation back is really good though, except this very last part.
Yeah.
Because realistically, you see both your teammates are a bit awkward. You don't realistically need to push up here yet.
Yeah.
Driving a bit back and forth. So here, this touch isn't too bad. Could have had it a bit more controlled there as well. Very good. Good speed. This should be completely fine for your team. You're driving back slowly. You're there for the touch. This again is good from you positioning wise. But what's the idea?
I tried to roll it up the wall,
Right.
but I was too far under it
Yeah.
and basically
Those
passed my
touches,
opponents.
in a way, yeah. Although these touches are very difficult, you definitely end up pushing up too quick to it here. Because now, yeah, it just bounces off your hood. You want to control it a bit more with your nose here, and these are always going to be a bit difficult. But in a general sense, I think as well, if you let it bounce off the wall first as well, it could make it easier for you. So let's see here. If it did bounce off the wall, say, you'd end up driving here instead, take a bit more time. This wall would have bounced off of here, probably bouncing somewhere along the lines of here. That point it's just in turn, and then this guy's last man, so if you beat him, Josh now probably has a free touch, if not you.
Yeah.
Very good cut, very good. See if you go for the demo here. Nope. Okay. Take me through it, Lika. From this touch from the wall, take me through your thought process.
I'd say I wanted to be like mid for the pass, but I'm not entirely sure, as this was a while back.
Right. So, what do you think the ideal play is then here?
Go for the demo, because two of the opponents were behind us.
So then we're talking about this situation right here then.
Yeah.
You could probably stay a bit more active here, that's probably true. But if you wanted to stay more mid here, the problem with this is both you and Abs want to be in this position here. And you're kind of cutting across his line. So here you've both committed into it, and you can see now both of you are here. Instead, you could have covered a different part of the pitch and he could have gone into middle, which is a lot more easy for him.
Mhm.
Here, decent touch to the side. Here you're chasing for it. You have very good aggression at times, which is good. Oh my, what a touch. Overtime it is. Speed is good, very good touch as well. So you do take pads back. Got one pad. See, is it really dangerous? Don't really know because you're not looking. So what I'd realistically do is I'd line myself up for this next pad here. I'd boost towards this pad because then what I could do is very simple. Once you're on this, you can line yourself up with this pad and then flip while looking at the ball. because then you get to see what's going on, you get to flip to your position, probably get these 2 pads if you line yourself up correctly. And then you have 20 boost, and now you can turn in. You're gonna be a bit less awkward on this.
Okay.
Okay, so that goes in. Let's see. From this play here. How much boost does he have then? 36 boost. Right, so what's the reason for this cut then?
I don't think I realized he was there until I saw him at this point.
Yeah. Because now I'm assuming both Josh and Abs are going to be a lot more awkward. He's ended up pushing, and yeah, Abs is pushed up with him.
Yeah.
Because Abs can't see him here, so he's just gone off. Right. Because this here, you want to make touches that are going to be comfortable for yourself. This one here, you're going across the entire pitch. No one's really there, so you can just leave it after this touch as well. So here, I think the leave is a lot easier for you, and then you can go back post or eventually call second. Be with Josh here, as long as you have a designated third here, because the issue team-wise here is that your third man often is a lot more aggressive than what he needs to be. Which is why you can see the 2 of these skills.
Yeah.
So, from this overview, as a team, I'd say work on probably just calling out who's what, so calling first, second, and third a lot. And then try to work on your spacing. That's going to make the games a lot better. Try to look for where your teammates are and try to like stay a bit away from them. Don't get too close, because that's going to make the game a lot more comfortable and you can cover a larger area.
Yeah.
Because if you look at one extra thing before we're done here, this is a good example. Right here, when you're driving forwards, Riz, he can probably cover all of this area comfortably. And then he has a larger circle. Optic can maybe take a bit up on the wall and here. Script can take this. And then you guys have this one where Josh is overlapping with Abs. Abs is overlapping a bit with Josh. And you're here, and you're very far out with support, but you can see in a general sense, they have this coverage here, and this is obviously one very rough scenario, so it's not really fair. They're too far away from each other, but you guys are too close to each other here. And that's arguably worse, especially when you're trying to do offense, because one mistake and you're out.
Yeah.
One mistake for them, and they have one guy who's too passive, but you'll still end up having someone back at the very least. All right.